And welcome back, everyone. It is time now for Daybreak and 10 on Color 10.
We are on the air with you for the next 10 minutes without commercials beginning right now. And first, let's head on over to meteorologist TJ Springer with our forecast first. Good morning, TJ.
Boy, it's a great time of the morning. Thank you, guys. Hopefully yours is going well so far, too, out there. We are tracking some showers as a cold front has been working on through the area. Some popping up as we speak, and we're looking at another round around lunchtime as the upper level cold front moves on through. So that is something we'll be keeping tabs on. Also, the gusty winds as we head through the next 24 to 36 hours. The system continues to impact us here in the Ozarks with gusts still between 30 and 35 miles per hour into the overnight and eventually into our Friday. And with what we're tracking, another round of wintry weather, we could be dealing with some near whiteouts possible in these heavier snow bands. I'll talk about that here in just a moment. The gusty wind's a big headline today, though, and that is why we do have some wind advisories in play for far western reaches of the Show Me State. High wind warnings in lots of communities out across the upper Midwest and the Great Plains, though. Temperatures are milder ahead of this boundary, 40s to 50s out there. Highs should be where our low temperatures are here this morning. So that's an indication of where we'll be today in our wagging walking forecast. If you're going out with your furry friends, make sure you're grabbing the umbrella just in case. This is Luna. Say hello to her here this morning. We're back into the upper 40s for highs. We'll talk more about that wintry weather and when it does move on through in our last look at that 7-day forecast in just a bit. Joe.
All right, thank you, TJ. January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month. This is a good time to learn more about the topic and also spot the signs of it. Nigel McDonald looked into that, and she's joining us this morning with more on the efforts that are happening locally to address the issue. Nigel.
Yeah, Joe, well, good morning. Thanks to additional funding, the Greene County Juvenile Office created a high-risk victims task force. Now, Monica Elliott heads this team and says their goal is to provide the most victim-centered approach for intervention. She says it's also important to provide these kids and their families with the best services our community can offer. Now, runaway and homeless youth are at higher risk of becoming victims of sex and labor trafficking due to their vulnerabilities.
These predators prey on these particularly youth runaways, their vulnerabilities, like food, shelter, needing money, and they exploit that is what they do. And a lot of times these youth think that these predators are, being loving and helping them, and they're mistaking and they are victims.
Well, Elliott says some red flags and warning signs include family dysfunction, when a youth is dating an older man or woman or interacting and sharing personal information online with older people. Now, if you suspect trafficking is going on, call 911 or local law enforcement.
Naja, thank you. We have more information on the death of a 25-year-old Caleb Slay, who was shot and killed by DEA agents in the front yard of his Springfield home in November. Yesterday, his mother, Tina Slay Richardson, shared his death certificate with us, and the cause of death reads gunshot wounds of the head. According to the DEA, agents were on Slay Street doing surveillance on a person who they saw engage in a hand-to-hand sale of drugs. When the DEA approached, agents say that's when Slay arrived and approached them, but a search warrant by the Springfield Police Department says that agents approached Slay and an altercation started, and that's when he was shot. Now his mother is calling for charges to be filed in her son's death.
There is no doubt in my mind that there should be an arrest in this case. And it's not Casey Ray, but there should be an arrest and there should be accountability to the person who pulled that trigger and put gunshot wounds in my son's head.
We've tried to obtain the autopsy report, though we were denied as it is still an open investigation.
We continue to put crime into focus for you. The man found guilty in the death of his accomplice in a crime that led to the death of a deputy will be sentenced today. Back in 2014, Joshua Brown was driving a car when his passenger, William Collins, ran away during a traffic stop. This was all in Cedar County. During a chase, both Deputy Matthew Chisholm and Collins exchanged gunfire. Both were shot and killed. Brown was convicted in Chisholm's death, but a Greene County judge overturned that conviction, sentencing him to 10 years in prison for drug and tampering charges. In 2019, prosecutors charged Brown with second-degree murder in the death of Collins. He was found guilty in October.
Making news around the region, bars and restaurants in Kansas City will now be allowed to stay open until midnight. The 50% capacity limit remains in effect. That later closing time will be revisited in a month to make sure it's not causing a surge in COVID-19 cases. This order remains in effect until May 1st. Previously, Kansas City bar owners were upset because they were losing business to neighboring communities with looser restrictions.
The Illinois High School Association says sports will remain on pause for now. The board of directors announced that contact days will start as soon as they're allowed, pending approval by the Illinois Department of Health. Contact days are informal, voluntary off-season workouts. The board will meet again in 2 weeks to review a sports schedule framework, though.
Around America, Snap Inc. is permanently terminating U.S. President Donald Trump's Snapchat account. Snap had announced an indefinite suspension of the account after the Capitol's violent unrest last week. It said it had decided to permanently ban the account, quote, in the interest of public safety and based on his attempts to spread misinformation, hate speech, and incite violence. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook have removed President Trump's accounts and eliminated content supporting last week's assault as well.
Investigators may be a step closer to figuring out what caused last year's helicopter crash that killed basketball star Kobe Bryant and 8 others. The NTSB says it will meet next month to finalize the board's findings and establish a probable cause, according to early data from the crash site. Investigators believe poor visibility may have played a role there. Officials say the helicopter's pilot claimed he was taking the aircraft to a higher elevation because of thick clouds. But crews studying the helicopter's flight pattern at the time of that radio call discovered the chopper was actually going down instead of up.
In more local news now, local librarians are launching a new podcast for young readers, which is a first for the Springfield-Greene County Library District. The Planet Book podcast will give middle grade and teens recommendations on popular books. Librarians will also get into books with topics that young readers might be experiencing, like bullying, LGBTQ issues, and relationships. Episodes are about 15 minutes long. The Planet Book podcast is available on Apple and Spotify right now.
We have another critical call for blood donors. Community Blood Center of the Ozarks says seasonal shortages combined with fewer donations due to the coronavirus have caused a shortage of O-negative blood. They are having reserves that are alarmingly low right now. Potential donors are asked to give blood soon at one of CBCO's donor centers in Springfield or Joplin. Donors will be entered into a drawing for a new car if you go do that. A quick trend for you right now. Free COVID tests are happening around the state. One was held in Webster County yesterday, Jen.
That's right. And there is a new one happening tomorrow in Branson. It is for 300 people. You do have to pre-register. It is free. You just have to be a Missouri resident. If you just Google COVID-19 testing, Branson, Ozarks First, we have that story on our website and a link to register as well.
All right, very good to
great.
get your tests in and make sure that you're able to keep up with the health, right?
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like something we all have to do as we head through the new year.
Certainly.
right.
How is it looking out there?
Not too bad today, guys. Blustery winds, some showers. We're tracking snow showers there tomorrow, and I wouldn't be shocked if we get some winter weather advisories issued, so we'll be keeping tabs on it.
All right. Thank you, TJ. And thanks for starting your Thursday with us. We'll see you for more local news at midday.